Well, I have to say that I definitely side with you on this issue. We don't want to force our kids to clean their plate. When we do that, we're teaching our kids to eat past the point of fullness. They're done. Their bodies are telling them to stop, and we say, no, eat more. You want to clean your plate. You want it to be all gone. And we teach them to overeat. Also, if you pressure your kids to do this, and some people are very authoritative and very strict about it, you can set your kids up for eating issues later on in life. And I know you don't want to go down that path. Now, I can certainly respect your husband. He probably wants to be a good steward and not waste food. He doesn't want to lose hard-earned money, and he wants, to use all the food that's there. But see if he can look at it from a different perspective. When we are eating past fullness, and for the sake of cleaning our plates, and we're putting in food that our body doesn't need for fuel, that our body isn't calling for, aren't we still throwing it away? But instead of throwing it in the trash can, we're throwing it in our stomachs. We're using our stomachs as a garbage can. So we're wasting it, we're throwing it away, and we're compromising our health because it promotes unhealthy weight gain. Also, by forcing your children to eat food that they're not hungry for, that is not going to solve the world hunger problem, and it's not going to help the starving child in India, which is what a lot of parents tell their children. So basically, it's a different kind of waste, and it undermines good health. Certainly there are things you can do so that you can be less wasteful, and your husband can work with you on this. I don't know who's putting out the food, who's plating the food for your children, if you're doing it yourselves, if you're doing it as parents, or the kids are doing it themselves. But perhaps you're just putting too much on the plate, or they are doing it. So start with putting less food out on the plates. And let your kids know that they can have seconds, because in some houses they'll say no seconds. So what do kids tend to do? They want to overfill the plates because they're afraid that they won't get enough, and that promotes that overeating, and you get into that whole cycle of cleaning your plate. So put less out. And if they do want seconds, I do recommend that you have them sit a while, because it takes about 20 minutes for full signals to register in the brain. And if they ate their food really fast, they may not know that they've reached the point of fullness yet. So I always tell my kids to wait 20 minutes and around that time frame, and then if they're still hungry, to go back for seconds. And kids can learn to judge how much they need based on their hunger and eat intuitively. Certainly there are going to be times, though, where you're out at a restaurant, and there's too much food and they're just not hungry for it, and if you can't bring it home as leftovers, you're just going to have to throw it away, and that's okay. Because putting in food that our bodies doesn't need is just not how we were designed, and it's not healthy.